Welcome to Force Kiting Wake, everybody. Staying here in this beautiful city, Charleston, South Carolina. Kevin is right next to me. Poor guy drove 9 hours from Hatteras, and
I feel like a truck driver.
yes,
but it feels good.
And now he's here in Charleston with us. Thank you so much for coming. What we're gonna do in the next 5 minutes, we're gonna drill Kevin with a few questions, and it's gonna be more about Kevin. Kevin, what's going on, man? How long you been kiting?
Oh, I've been kiting. I started last week. Yeah, I gotta just finish my lessons. A bit sore now. No, I started back in 2000, early 2000s. So that's 23 years ago, just when kiting basically got to Holland.
So what happened? You just saw a kite on the TV? I bet you that there was no kites on the beach at that time.
No, there was nothing. You know, it didn't really exist. But I was always flying kites on the beach since I was 7 years old, and then I got into surfing when I was 9. Okay. And I absolutely loved those two sports. And then when I was 11 years old, I saw the combination between two of my favorite sports. Yep. I was kiting, and I was like, it was like a dream come true, you know? It's like, these are two of my favorite sports combined. I need to get into this.
So how did you get your first kite? What was it?
So
23 years ago.
23 years ago. So there was a kite shop that opened in my hometown. Okay, and my mom saw in Noordwijk in the Netherlands, and my mom saw an article in the local newspaper, like a kite shop opening in my hometown. And my mom was like, "Hey, dude, look, there's a kite shop opening in the hometown." And I was like, "No, you're joking with me. This can't be true." And but I saw it in the newspaper, and I went there, and I met a bunch of cool guys. And then this one guy, his name is Jordy. He met up with him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can borrow my kites." And then, you know, got into it, and the ball started
so
rolling.
when you just borrow some people's kites and just figure it out on your own, is that what happened?
Yeah, and then we had a bunch of friends all together, and we just, you know, there were no schools.
Okay.
So we just pretty much learned it ourselves. But it really helped that I was flying kites already for many years, and I was surfing. Okay. So I had, you know, the water experience and the experience with the wind and flying the kites. So it was it came sort of natural to me.
Guide me from the first contest to the Red Bull King of the Air.
Cool. You want the long or the short version? Probably the shorter version, yeah.
Whatever you want.
I can make it very long. I can make this one very long.
We have time.
The first contest, the real major contest I ever first did was the Dutch Championships.
Okay.
I wanted to compete before, but I wasn't allowed. I had to be 14 years old. So when I was 14 years old, I signed up for it and I competed. And there was no junior class; it was just with the older guys, and I managed to win. Nice. And I was like, "Wow, that was really, really cool." And then the year after that, I won it again, and I was like, "Okay, you know, won the Dutch Championships twice. Now I want to, you know, measure myself with the best in the world." So I started going on the world tour, and then the first year. So wait,
you started in 2020. How many years you've been kiting since you start winning?
I was kiting for, I was 14, so 3 years.
3 years, okay, right on.
Yeah, and then, I started winning the Dutch Championship. Then I went to the World Tour, and first year I ended up 8th overall. Then the year after that I ended up 4th overall. Then I was vice president for, vice world champion for 3 years in a row, and then in 2009 I managed to win the freestyle world championships. And
oh wow, so you're still a teenager, right? It's like, am I counting right? 14, 15 in Dutch, then what was after the Dutch?
Yeah, I started on the world tour when I was 15.
15, wow.
And then I became world champion when I was 20 or 21, I think. Yeah.
Did you have like school and like things you gotta do?
Yeah, I went to school. I wasn't the best at school. I felt I was able to do it, but I felt like it was holding me back a lot. I was learning stuff that I thought I was not really gonna. Maybe kids, just close your ears. No, the traditional school system, I didn't really fit into that. I'm very dyslexic, but that also gave me a lot of other opportunities. You know, I think dyslexic people become very creative and got to figure out ways to do things differently than they teach you at school, and that definitely gave me a huge advantage on becoming a professional kiteboarder and now an entrepreneur.
So 19 years old, Red Bull King of the Air. That's
that was the world freestyle world champion. And then the King of the Air. That came later. No, it did exist. That was one of the first kiteboard contests ever held. The Red Bull King of the Air. First, it was in Maui in 1999. That ran all the way to 2005, which the last one I competed there in 2005, and then it was a break till 2013, and then it moved to South Africa, and that's where it really started to take off.
Oh wow! All right, so tell us about the time where you were the most scared with a kite in the sky.
Oh man, I try to scare myself every session I do, to be honest.
But
I think
there's gotta be one of those sessions like, man.
I think I scare myself, you know, during the King of the Air most of the times, but also other sessions, you know. I think if you don't scare yourself, you're not going big enough.
All right, well that's...
And, you know, I shit myself constantly.
Well, very, very, very cool. You guys want to help with some questions?
How many broken bones so far?
How many
injuries?
broken
Oh,
injuries?
I did a few. The worst one was my knee. Tore my ACL in 2010 during the World Cup in Fuerteventura. I won in 2009. Then I was leading 2010 pretty much till the half of the season. Then I was in Fuerteventura. I did a KGB, which I've done a million times. Landed on the back of my on the wave, and my knee just buckled, and I could feel it right away. I was like, "Ooh, that's not good." But then I was underwater, and I was like, "It's gonna be fine." And then yeah, it was not fine. Had to get surgery. Then I broke my ankle 1 week before the King of the Air 2017. A week before the contest, so I couldn't compete there, and that was horrible. Broke some fingers, broke my wrist, but that's about it. Yeah.
Well, that happens when you're pushing in competitions, guys. Kiteboarding is a safe sport, so I can tell you that. Before we transition, speaking about safety, so this is what I've seen the trend, right? It's like you, I started in 2000. In the last 3-4 years, we see the trend of these big jumps, mega loops, and that's why probably how the supermodel was born, between powerful riding, big mega loops, influenced by the Red Bull King of the Air. And I have a lot of people on the phone and a lot of locals here that are, you know, pulling that trigger. We had a lot of people that, you know, got some hard landings on that, and you know, it's the simplest trick if you think of. You just pull the damn bar and hold.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more behind it. So if you would have give somebody a 60-minute tip of how to mega loop, how would you break that trick down?
How to mega loop? Well, I can tell you first of all, there's no special trick to it. So you can stop the video now. It's like there's no special trick.
There's
none. I'm sorry. There's no special recipe. The only thing you can really do to improve your riding is to, you know, pick the right gear first of all, and just ride a lot. You know, there's tons of good videos online that will explain you how to do kite loops, so you can see a lot of kite loops. But I think the main thing is to make sure you jump as big as you can, because the longer and the higher you're up in the air, the more time the kite has to fulfill that kite loop and catch you again. But you know, it will still be a scary trick. I've done millions of kite loops in my life, and I still get scared. And the fear is never going to go away.
It doesn't get better. Okay?
No, it doesn't get better. You just, you know, figure out how to handle it better. But it never gets not scary.
All right, choose your right gear, something that can jump pretty high. I can tell you this can jump really high because he designed it to jump really high. And make sure, I'll probably add something, make sure that you have enough water to land. Because all the people that I talk on the phone, I've seen coming through the door in the store, and it's like, what happened? It's like, oh, it was a foot of water when I landed. It's like...
Yeah, and kite with your friend, you know, that's also important. Even if you try to push yourself, even if you're not trying to push yourself, make sure you always go out there with a buddy, check your gear, make sure everything is in good shape, check the weather, because you still see nowadays, you see a lot of people go out and hurt themselves or get lost at sea. It still happens. It is still an extreme sport, even though we are making the gear as safe as we can. There are still some risk involved. So I know a lot of people like taking certain risk. I do as well. But you just make sure you just, you know, kite with your buddy so they can keep an eye out on you, keep an eye out on the wind. So yeah, there's no crazy storms coming or something. And yeah, I went out the other day actually to do a test, like how long it will take me to swim back from 1 minute of kiting out. What happened? You guess how long it took me to?
How much?
Like one minute of kiting?
This is a good
20
way to
minutes.
get
An hour.
swimming back.
And how long would it take you to swim back?
1 hour.
It's 2 hours, isn't it?
An hour.
An hour.
An hour for a minute of riding.
1 minute of riding equals an hour of swimming. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's
This is very good.
and I was you know I was swimming an hour nonstop. I was amazed how long it took me.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, no whale watching.
Yeah.
Back and forward. I don't want to swim for an hour. I don't think that I can make it if I have to swim for an hour. Kite with friends. All right, we can wrap it up with something.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Yeah.
Check out some more videos on the link below or click here. Buy your kites.
Click over there.